Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to the Daily Becoming podcast. I am so glad you decided to join me today. And I hope today you come ready to hear for God to speak directly to you. And that I pray that you hear something today that will just catapult you further into where you've been trying to go in the journey that you have been on. I'm excited about what God is going to say and do, because when God be taking this thing over, he does his thing. Welcome. And if you have not done so, please take a moment to share this, send this to someone, send it to them in their DM, tag them down in the comments. When you come in, say something, whether you're watching live or in the replay. I would greatly appreciate it if you would say something and let me know that you are watching. I also would love to hear if you're getting anything out of this series. And this series that we have been on for the last 3 weeks is called I'm sorry, that's not the name of the series. What happened? Going on with my computer. It is called Becoming the Best You series. And it is inspired by a phenomenal book that I know some of you have already gotten. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. But this book is written by Phineas Canuthia, and it is called Becoming the Best You, Secrets for Stepping into Greatness. I have read this book repeatedly. I mean, it's one of those kind of books. I don't know if y'all ever have those books where you read it once and then you find your different points and stages of life, but it's a phenomenal book. Hello, Anissa. Thank you so much for joining, sweetheart. So yes, again, if you're watching live or in the replay, just say something. I will definitely say something back to you. We're in the third installment of the Becoming the Best You series. And today we're going to be talking about the benefits of change and transformation. The benefits of change and transformation. When you hear change, that scares people sometimes. When you hear transformation, that scares people sometimes. But today and going forward, I want you to think about change and transformation being like your left and your right leg. Your left and your right leg. Change is your left, transformation is your right leg. And both of them work in tandem for you to go forward. Keep that in mind. That just spoke to someone, and there's your sign right there. That change and transformation are like your right and your left leg working in tandem for you to go forward. And that is the purpose of change. The purpose of change is to always help you go forward. It's always to help you grow. However, we don't like change. We don't even like changing the directions we go to work. If you take the 405 or the 610 or whatever the highway is where you live, and that's the route that you always go, baby, when you see that detour sign, you get deep into your feelings, because we are such creatures of habit. Habits can be beneficial, but habits can also be dangerous and detrimental. Because if your habits are keeping you in the same place and never growing, they're keeping you in such a place of comfort that anything that veers off makes you extremely uncomfortable, so much so that you won't do anything. I would rather do nothing than do anything. Then it's a dangerous place to be in. Some habits can be very beneficial to you in your growth. Healthy habits, your habits of exercise, your habits of making sure you drink a gallon of water a day. Those things can be beneficial to you, but we have some other habits that are not quite as beneficial. So when change comes, change wants to bring transformation in your life. It wants to break up the monotony of your everyday mundane habits. It wants to break up some of your mindsets, because change has to do that. Change can't take place with the same mindsets that we were in to get us where we are. That's tweetable. But they won't. Like, if you don't change your mindset, how do you expect to go further? Because your mindset is why you where you are right now. So change and transformation, there are left and our right leg working in tandem for us to move forward. Today, in chapter 4 of Dr. Canuthia's book, it talks about embrace change as an ally. Embrace change as an ally. So in other words, we're looking at change as our friend. Change is something that works with us and not against us. Although it may feel like the change that's trying to take place in your life is working against you, but it's not. He uses an amazing example in the book where he's talking about a baby being inside of a mother's womb. The baby can only be in that womb up to so many months. I know it's some people that they weren't born till they were 10 months in utero, but normally 9 months. And after that, it's time for the baby to come out because there's only so much growth that can take place inside of its mother. So something begins to happen inside that mother. They say nature begins to take its course. I believe her body knows the time to push the baby out, the time for things to start happening where that baby can come out. But can you imagine if a baby decided, I don't want to leave. I want to stay right up in here. It's comfortable. She takes care of all of my needs. I don't have to worry about how I'm going to eat because that umbilical cord got me on lock. I don't want to go anywhere. Can you imagine walking around with a 40-something-year-old child inside of you? Number one, it's impossible. But let's just in our imagination say it was possible. How much could that 40-something-year-old be an independent human? How much more could they grow and experience the world? There are certain things that would happen inside of its adult body while inside the mother that would be detrimental to her health. And what am I saying to you is there are some things that we won't let go of and we won't allow change to come in that are so detrimental to our lives right now. So much so that change has decided, you know what? I'm going to have to bring a storm in because she's just not getting it. I'm going to have to allow this to happen because she's just not getting it. I'm going to have to let this relationship get to this point because he's just not getting it. So change and transformation love you so much that not only will they work in tandem to move you forward, they will do what is necessary to get the necessary change and transformation in your life. I hope you caught that because there's somebody going through some storms right now. You like, what in the world? And if you stop for a moment and you ask the Lord, this might not be everybody's situation, but your situation may be, if these things did not happen, you would not change. If this did not disrupt your life, you would not get up and move. If it wasn't so much hell on your job, you would not go and start your business. I'll tell you something about change. Change is smart. I believe change and wisdom are like sisters and brothers. I really do. Because, the Bible calls wisdom a her. I believe change and wisdom are related because change knows enough to do enough in your life. Because, see, what might work for you may not work for me. But knows enough to do enough in your life to make you get up off your behind and get moving. To make you, what do the eagles do? They start pulling the thorns underneath the eaglet. To make that eaglet get out of that nest. They even push it like it's trying to push it off the cliff because it's trying to teach that baby bird to fly. Change will do that. Change will do that. Okay, enough of all of that. Let's get into it. So there is this quote right at the very beginning of this chapter that I love so much that says, for many people, change is more threatening than challenging. They see it as the destroyer of what is familiar and comfortable rather than the creator of what is new and exciting. That's almost kind of what we just talked about. If you see change as threatening and challenging, which a lot of us do, you're going to see it in its negative form. You're going to see it as something that's come along to destroy you. You're going to see it as something that's come along to basically take you out. But that's not what change is for. Change is for your good. It may not feel like it, but change is for your good. And change will also bring you out of your comfort zone. But as this quote here says, we see it as a destroyer of it. But here's the question. Are you not ready to have your comfort zone destroyed? Like some of us have been praying and praying and praying for years. At the beginning of this year, at the end of last year, God, I want change. I want to do this in my life. I want to be different. I want to be blah, blah, blah. But the moment stuff starts to come for you to get all of those things, to put those things in motion, you become terrified. It wants to come and disrupt your status quo, but it wants to come and destroy your comfort zone. It wants to come and erase that circle of the zone so you can start stepping out. But the moment you begin to feel unfamiliar, the moment it begins to require something from you and to require more of you, then you begin to see change, not as your ally and friend, but as something that has come to destroy, something that has come against you. And it's far from the truth. So today, my prayer is that we see change as a friend, and that we see change as something that's come to help and not hinder. It's come to bless and not destroy. Okay, this is going on in my life right now, guys. So what is it that you're trying to teach me through this change? What is it that you're trying to teach me from this thing happening in my life? Because to become the best version of you, you have to stop being the version that you are right now. That means you have to change and transform. As I said last week, you no longer have to be who you became when you were in survival mode. You don't even have to be who you've been. And it's okay if you thought who you were all this time was good. It's okay. But the moment God begins to tell you, no, I need you to grow. Son, I want you to mature. Daughter, I want you to. The moment you hear, or you even begin to feel, and sometimes you just feel, you ever felt like you were outgrowing a place? You ever felt like you were outgrowing a relationship? Or that you were outgrowing a situation? Maybe even a job? You ever felt like that? 9 times out of 10, that feeling of uncomfortableness and that feeling of, it begins to feel awkward and inadequate. It begins to feel, y'all forgive me, I gotta turn my camera this way so we can stop tripping. Oh, Lord, it's live. Whenever you start to feel like that, those are the times you really need to ask God, what is it? Where are you trying to take me? What's going on? What in me no longer fits this situation? Thank you, Holy Spirit. What in me no longer wants to tolerate this going on in my life? What in me needs growth? What in me needs change? And then when you start hearing from the Lord, what I don't want you to do is start running, because he will definitely answer. Here's something else that he mentioned in the book that I wanted to go over. If you desire to reach your ultimate potential, you must disrupt the status quo and break the rest of your comfort. Again, what we just talked about. If you desire to reach your ultimate potential, you must disrupt the status quo and break the rest of your comfort. I love the wordplay here when he says the rest of your comfort. Because remember, I was talking about letting change erase your comfort zone. So here's what we do. We say we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Starting this month on this day, I'm no longer going to do this, or I'm going to do that. So we come out of the comfort zone. We step out of it. We're full force, full-fledged, excited. We're going after that thing. And then what happens is you start to slowly retreat back into old habits. You start to slowly pick up some things that you said you're going to stop doing. You begin to start drawing that comfort zone circle again. And it doesn't happen all at once. It happens when we start to get uncomfortable. Good example, here you go. I'm going to lose weight. So starting May 1st, I'm going to go work out 3 times a week. So I'm in there killing it the first week. And when that pain starts to kick in, I'm kind of rethinking it a little bit. So when that alarm goes off on the 4th time, I may snooze it. And then I may snooze it again. It's okay if I miss today. I'll make up for it the next time. Then that becomes a habit. Then the next thing you know, either your exercise equipment is collecting your clothes and is now become like a clothesline dryer, or that membership is going to waste because I'm falling back in old habits. I'm giving into what's comfortable. What's comfortable is I don't want to get up early and go work out. What's comfortable is I don't want to be hurting like this in the morning. What's comfortable is this cover is holding me real nice and tight, and this pillow's feeling real right. So I want to stay here a few more minutes. And then the next thing you know, you're falling back into the eating habits that you don't need to be in. And your gym is sending you emails saying, we miss you. All righty. If we desire to reach whatever those ultimate goals, those ultimate potentials, that best version of ourselves, we have to disrupt the status quo and break the rest of our comfort. Are you willing to be uncomfortable? If you're taking notes, write that down as a question to yourself. Am I willing to be uncomfortable? Because change will require discomfort. You're no longer in the comfort zone. You're outside of it, so you're not comfortable for a while. The discomfort doesn't last forever, though, but you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. So write that down and ask yourself, am I willing? And only you can answer that question, because you're going to need to know that answer. You're going to need to know it on the days when you don't want to get up, do jack. When you are hurting, when you've made a promise to yourself financially and the opportunity comes to spend money on something that has nothing to do with your financial goals, you're going to have to be willing to be uncomfortable enough to say no to yourself, uncomfortable enough to say no to your friends. Like, how committed are you to your change? How committed are you to the best version of you? Here is something that will help you. When you're going through these moments where you got to make these decisions, how committed am I right now? How committed am I to do this? Think about the best version of you that's in the future. Think about that version of you. What does he look like? What does she look like? What decisions is she making today to be that tomorrow? Because to be that tomorrow, you best believe she was willing or he was willing to make uncomfortable decisions. Sometimes to be the best version of you, the uncomfortable part is walking away from some relationships. That's uncomfortable. Because these people, they've been your comfort zone, your soft place to land, your ride or die buddy, your going out buddy, whatever they've been. But to reach your ultimate potential, are you willing to be uncomfortable? Sometimes being uncomfortable requires a bit of solitude. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. It requires a bit of solitude. And if you're the type that has to always be in the crowd or always be booed up because you just can't be by yourself, that's going to be uncomfortable for you, but it's going to be necessary. It's going to be necessary. And then there's the flip side of that. For those that don't want to fool with people, period. For you to be the best version of you, it may require you to become a little bit more outgoing, a little bit more extroverted, because it's going to require you to speak so you can go get that promotion. It's going to require you to talk more because you do want to be the best at your business, or you do want to talk about the book that you wrote a long time ago, but you're afraid to talk to people about. That's somebody's sign right there. It may be uncomfortable, this change and this transformation, but ask yourself, am I willing to be uncomfortable? Something else that he says that change creates events and forces us to make decisions that we would otherwise not initiate on our own. Amen in the back. Change creates events and forces us to make decisions that we would otherwise not initiate on our own. Remember when I was talking about change being so smart, it might allow some things to happen in your life that otherwise you would not do or change or move or be if it didn't happen. That's how wise change is. That's how wise change is. So if something is happening right now in your life that has had you questioning everything, I would ask God, did this come to make me move? Did this come to make me get out of this comfort zone? Did this come so I would have no choice but to do? What if that what if you've been struggling with your finances for so long and not of any fault of your own, not because you spend all the time or that you have bad money management, but you've been trying to do everything that you know and all the good books have told you to do? What if it has gotten like it has gotten because change is trying to get you to learn a little bit more in that area of finances, to try this, to invest in that, to try something differently, to get you a financial advisor? Because where transformation sees you going, change has to get these things to happen to get you to a different level, to make you start thinking differently. So if you don't go take that class, you won't be ready for the next level that you don't even know is coming. But if you weren't uncomfortable, if you weren't like you didn't have money running through your pockets, like it has hole in it and it's water, then you would never be ready for that next level. So many things happen in our life to force us to do things that we would not otherwise do. You're tired of struggling, so you go take some type of trade course, or you go take extra classes so you can go get a better job, so you can go get a raise on your job. But you wouldn't do it if it wouldn't get so tight at the house. You would be so comfortable making what you're making and staying where you are. But if things didn't start to get rough and tough and squeezing in your pocketbook, as they would say, then you would do nothing beyond where you are. So maybe change is just trying to bring you to an entirely different level. When you are asking God for change and transformation, when you are asking God to make me new and make me better, I want to be whatever you're asking God for. When he gives you instructions, don't despise what he tells you. When he gives you instructions, don't despise what he tells you. Because some of the instructions God will give you seem so simple and basic. Some of them may seem so strange and awkward. Some of them may not be what you think they should be to get what you're asking him for. But you got to trust him. Sometimes we think to get these big grandiose things, we need God to do big grandiose things. He doesn't need that. He's been waiting on you just to want it too. He's been waiting on you just to want it, just to ask for it. So when he gives you instructions, they may seem like this is not what I'm asking you about, God. If you would just be obedient. If you would just be obedient. I'm going to give you a great example. If you want to look this up, you can. It's going to be in 2 Kings and chapter 5. So it talks about Naaman, who had leprosy. I'm going to break this down so simple and so quick. So Naaman had leprosy, and he had heard that basically the servant of God, Elijah the prophet, would be able to heal him. Okay. So in his mind, he thought that Elijah was going to either wave his hand over him, just do something grandiose to be healed from leprosy. Naaman said, go dip 7 times in the Jordan. Naaman was mad. Naaman was highly ticked. Not only are you not doing something like grand like I thought you should to get rid of this leprosy, you want me to go dip in that nasty Jordan water? It's all kind of clean waters over there, but you want me to go dip in 7 times? So he was angry. He was upset. Elijah said, if you will just do it, if you will just do it. That's what change is telling you. If you'll just do it. That's what your transformation is telling you. If you will just do it. How about Naaman goes and dips in that nasty water 7 times? Naaman didn't have leprosy no more. I'm sorry, anymore. Here's my question to you. Some of you, God has already been telling, I want you to do this, this, and this. It didn't fit what you thought it should fit. It didn't fit what you did for her when she needed that done. So you haven't done it. You either were too scared because it seemed too big. You were too busy arguing with God about it because it seemed too simple. Or you just stay in your comfort zone because you just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to put in all that work. So What if he's been telling you that and the change you've been waiting for has been waiting on you? Could it be as simple as you go dip 7 times in that nasty water? Could it be as simple as leave that relationship, go back to school and finish your degree, go back to school and go learn a little bit more about this? This is the area that you're going to need to know for your business. So I need you to go and go learn that. I need you to take a year and go to school for this. I need you to go and finally apply for that loan for your home. But God, I don't. That's what did I say? But I still don't have, but what did I say? And you're trying to line up logically everything that you have and that you don't have. God is saying, go dip in the Jordan 7 times. So the change and the transformation, since you've been hard-headed, wouldn't go dip, has been allowing things to happen in your life that have been more and more frustrating. Because God, I keep asking you to change this. Well, I told you to go dip and you refused to go dip. So this had to happen. The eagle had to pull thorns up from underneath you to make you get uncomfortable enough to start to move. When Naaman went and dipped, Naaman was cured. What has God been telling you to go do? You don't need to tell me, but you need to write that down for yourself. And you need to be about what he told you to go do. Because that change is waiting on you. I'm almost done. I'm running through this very, very quickly. Your change is waiting on you. Transformation is waiting on you. They are working in tandem to get you progressively forward. But you have to come out of that comfort zone, which means you got to step 1 foot out and then follow it up with the next and then keep moving forward. The next thing that he mentioned is to be great. You not only have to embrace and desire change, you must also learn how to navigate through change itself. You have to embrace it. You have to desire it. That's something in of itself. And then you have to learn how to navigate through it. Embrace it. Okay, change, I get it. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable. I have to do something different, but I'm willing to be uncomfortable. Desire it. You got to desire it. You got to want this thing. You can't just say you want to lose weight. You got to want this thing. Because you can tell me and I can support you, but what you do and if you lose it, that's not going to be on me. It's going to be on you. You can tell me, pray for me because I'm going after this house like God told me to, but then you do nothing. You don't go look at houses. You don't get the paperwork in on time. You're not returning phone calls to the realtor, to the loan officer. You're not. I can't do that for you. You have to desire this enough that you're willing to be uncomfortable, but that you're willing to take the steps necessary to make it happen. And you have to keep embracing and keep desiring change. Then the third thing of that is you have to navigate through it. When you come up with your strategies for whatever your change needs to be, because you've got to have strategies. It can't just be a want on a piece of paper. You need a plan. You need to write that plan out and write the strategy to make each thing on that plan happen. If you're going to lose weight, what is your plan of action? Work out 3 days. First day is going to be upper. Second day is going to be lower. Third day is going to be full body. I'm going to go see a nutritionist. Whatever it is, write that plan down. Have those strategies. But now we have to navigate through change. Part of that navigation is going to be learning when to duck, bob, and weave all the distractions that will come. Duck, bob, and weave. You have to be so prayerful during this time, so watchful during this time. You have to watch and pray because, baby, let me tell you, the enemy of change and transformation is distraction and complacency. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Distraction and complacency are the cousins. They related, but they are the enemy to change and transformation. Because distraction, baby, baby, distraction has a name, a phone number, a smell, a body. Somebody will catch that later. Distraction is called social media. Distraction is called being on that phone, gossiping, not talking about nothing, not learning nothing. Distraction is very faithful at its job, and that is to distract you. It's to keep you from doing what you're supposed to be doing. When I say faithful, never takes a day off. So you have to always be mindful and watchful. That's going to require putting your phone on do not disturb. That's going to require turning off of notifications. That's going to require working your time management, having your planner out, putting in your time blocks to have things done. You have to, because distraction will distract. And before you know it, you'll be like, dang, 3 hours and pass. Distraction is so, let me tell you how fly and slick it can be. It is something like you're sitting at your desk writing that book that you've been working on and need to get out. There's your sign. All of a sudden you remember, I need to delete some of these emails. All of a sudden you will remember, I need to get dinner started. All of a sudden you remember, I need to do my budget and pay some bills. All of a sudden you're going to remember, I need to go. Like literally, it's like a squirrel. The teaching of a squirrel. And it seems like the right thing because everything that you just named is things that you should be doing anyway, right? No, those are distractions. All of those things can be put in time slots to be done. Make sure you are mindful of distractions. Distractions will come by way of someone else wanting to do something with your time if you don't have it managed. Somebody's going to need a ride. Somebody's going to need your help. Somebody's going to need to talk. Somebody's going to need to come by. Somebody's going to want to all of a sudden take you out to eat. Be mindful during this time that the enemy of change and transformation is going to be distraction and complacency, because it's real easy to be complacent with doing nothing. It's easy. I'm cool with watching my reality shows. I'm cool with running to the mall, running to Walmart, running to go pick the grandkids up and coming back home, making sure my man got something. I'm cool with that. But change and transformation is calling you higher because you are a motivational speaker. You should be on stage. You should be motivating the masses. You're an author that should be writing multiple books and traveling all over the world talking about your books. You're a business owner that should be making millions right now because you've been sitting on an idea, but you're watching everybody else make money and mad about it because they're doing it, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, I'm going to move on. Because we're almost done. The last thing that I wanted to mention is, I like to talk about his axioms that are at the end of each chapter. And I do apologize. I couldn't get them on the screen. I don't know. I told y'all last week, I don't know what's been going on with this platform, but it's okay. It's all good. So I'm just going to read them out to you. One of them is, most people don't like the process of change, but they desire to enjoy the positive results of change. So basically what he's saying is, in a real nice way, you don't want to do the work, but you want to enjoy all the benefits. Y'all remember the story, the little red hen? I believe I talked about this on the bonus episode that I did on, what day was that? On Friday. Go back and check that one out. It's called Bucket List Living. But if you ever read the story of the little red hen, this baby went around the whole barn, the whole farm, trying to get help from each animal she would ask, and they just wouldn't help her. But when she did, I don't want to tell the story. I want you to read it. But that can be us sometimes. When you read the story, this statement is going to make sense to you. That can be us sometimes. We don't want to contribute to our own success. We don't want to contribute by doing the work that's necessary. We don't want to put in the sweat. We don't want to put in the equity. We don't want to put in anything. However, we want to sit back and enjoy. Don't let that be you. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. You have to be a player in your own game of life. You have to participate. And it's going to be more enjoyable when you reach the goal that you want to reach because you put in the work. And I believe it's when you put in that work, it's the process that you go through that really transforms you and changes you. And that to me is what sets up those streams of income for you on the other side. Because now you can make money on telling people how they can transform their lives by teaching them the process that you went through. Okay, moving on. Strategy is the boat that navigates the seas of the complexity of change. We talked about strategies, a moment ago. It is the boat that navigates the seas of the complexity of change. And I'm going through this quickly because I actually have another meeting to jump into. Strategy is going to be very important to the change and transformation that you want to see. And the reason why he says it's the boats that will navigate the seas of complexities because it's not going to necessarily be a straight line from where you are right now to where you're trying to be. It may require you to take some detours. It may require you to turn here and you want to go straight. Strategy. I hope I'm still live. I know y'all just saw that. I don't know what's going on. But I hope when you have a strategy, no matter what comes to distract or block or hinder, that strategy is set in place for you to continue the process. When you come up with your strategy for weight loss, no matter what happens, it's a part of my plan. It has to happen. This is not negotiable because it's part of the strategy to make it happen. There's not one building in your city that was built without a strategic plan formed. That plan included blueprints. It included a lot of architectural meetings. It included a lot of surveys done on the land. It included making sure that the foundation was strong enough. All of this was part of the strategic plan to get that building that you see all the time. For you building yourself, for you creating and transforming into the best version of who you want to be and who God wants you to be, you have to have a plan. Don't try to make this plan without him, please. If you ask God to give you not only the strength and the discipline, but the plan, he will give it to you. It will be tailored to you. It'll be tailored to your schedule. It'll be tailored to your lifestyle. It'll also it'll be a twofold. Because it won't just get you to your desired results. It's going to transform you from the inside out. Please do not try to come up with a strategic plan without going to your God. Because he has the best strategies. I'm telling you, God has the best strategies. And the last one I'm going to give you is change is an invitation to potential greatness. That's my favorite one. That is my favorite one. Change is an invitation to potential greatness. Here's a what if question for you. What if you follow change and transformation? What if you let them lead you down the path and through the process that is going to ultimately make you become the best you ever? And you get there and you realize all of these things, all of this greatness, all of the stuff that you've been wanting has been waiting for you. What if you get there and realize all this time, all I had to do was just come into agreement with it? All I had to do was stop fighting it. All I had to do was just let it happen. You'll look back at the comfort zone that kept you for so long and wonder, what were you thinking? Because that is not greater than this over here. You're not suffering. Like, comfort zones are comfortable, but you can't tell me you don't suffer when you're in them. You cannot tell me. You might be comfortable with the suffering that you know, but you don't want to be uncomfortable with the suffering that you're unfamiliar with. But you're not living full potential in comfort zones. You're not getting everything that God has for you in comfort zones. That doesn't happen. We can lie to ourselves, but that doesn't happen because the best for you is over there. It's not right here. It's not. I think if we were meant to stay in comfort zones, we would be in our mother's womb forever and stay there. be 50 years old still inside your mama, because it's now that's the comfort zone where it was all taken care of for you. But that's not reality. Reality is the greatness that you've been waiting for. The best you is over there outside of it. I think I've said that in part 1 and 2 as well. It's over there. My prayer for you, Daily Becoming, here's your letter, is that you begin to see change and transformation as your allies, as your left and your right leg that are working in tandem to progressively move you forward constantly. And on this level, once you change, that you will embrace change on the next level. Because as long as we're living, we're going to continue to change. So why not embrace it? Why keep fighting something that is actually good for you? It's meant to help you. It's meant to bless you. And sometimes change says, I'm going to have to do this, and this is going to have to happen, and this is going to have to be disrupted, because if I don't, you're never going to get up and move. You're never going to go forward. I believe God is like that eagle with the eaglet, pulling up those thorns from underneath us sometimes, pushing us out of the nest so we can realize we do have wings to fly, so we can realize what is actually down in us, so we can realize everything he's been telling us that's in there in us is actually there, but you don't know it because you're not doing anything that requires it to come forth. Nothing. You're comfortable. You're comfortable, and you would stay there if you could. But God loves you so much. He wants so much more for you, even than what you want for yourself. And as scary as it may be when that mother eagle is pushing that eaglet out of the nest, as scary as it may be, there comes a moment when it realizes, wait a second, I can fly. Here's what I love about it, though. There's a father eagle. When the mother pushes the eaglet out of the nest, he's there close by that before it goes too low, he'll swoop in, and he'll catch him. He does that until the eaglet starts to fly on its own. You got to understand, and I'm going to end it with this, Dearly Becoming, that your father knows that it's scary jumping off that cliff. He knows this. He knows you better than you know yourself. He knows you're afraid. Don't you think for a second that once you come off that cliff and you start, that he's not there to catch you. He's there. The Father's there. He's not going to let you fall. If he's not letting you fall in that comfort zone that you want to stay in, he's holding you. Now, although things are happening, they're happening to get you up out of there, but he still has you. He still has you. So you don't think more so if you were to just say, God, I'm going to take this leap of faith off this cliff, that he won't be there to catch you if you are going to fall. But you won't. I believe when you jump off, you're going to realize there has either been a parachute attached to your back the whole time that you didn't realize was there, or your wings are going to sprout out that have always been there, but you were never doing anything that caused them to have to come forth. Daily Becoming, let change and transformation be your left and your right leg to move you forward, and let them become your allies. I pray that you got something out of today's live. Forgive me for having to go so fast, but I got a meeting I have to jump into. I love you guys so much. I really, really do. I really, really do. And I believe for us, I believe the best for you. I believe your best is still ahead of you. And I believe the best you is inside of you screaming, hello, can we get out of this comfort zone? There's so much more waiting for us over there. So with that being said, I want you guys to share this, please. I would love to hear if you got anything out of it. Give me at least one thing that God spoke to you in this. If you didn't get a chance to sit all the way through it, go back and watch it later. But please check out part 1 and part 2 as well. This is an amazing series. And I believe that, no, I know for a fact that God is speaking these things to us because it is time. It's actually past time. But we don't want to be passed over. We don't want to let opportunities pass us either. Amen. All right. Love you guys so much. I will see you all next week. And remember, becoming is beautiful. Bye.